Welcome. I'm Jennifer Slack. And in order to get us started, what I'm going to invite us to do is just do a settling meditation. If you guys are good with that. And so, thing in my pocket. Okay. We'll just, this is for me, so that I can be settled as well. I'll just invite you to find a comfortable place, position. First, I'm going to ask you if you're comfortable with your feet out. So that actually is one of the things you can do to help alleviate stress. An immediate thing to help alleviate stress. Just notice what that feels like. Just being aware of any sensations that arise as you move. And then come to stillness. And then if you'd like, you can put your hands on your lap. Notice any sensations that arose. Is it different? What does it feel like? Then noticing any sounds around you. Noticing the weight of your body. Feeling the connection with your seat. Just sinking into gravity, allowing it to hold you. Noticing your feet on the ground. And then taking in a deep breath at your own pace, if that's right for you. And letting it out at your own pace. You've got your eyes closed. Opening them. And you can take this kindly curiosity with you forward as we go through this. I want to call it an exercise because it's a practice is what we're going to be doing together. So the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to ask you to share with the person next to you. Like that.
Pushing down, huh?
I am pushing down.
Every room has the same problem.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe on clicker issues. You get the bad clicker.
Yes. And actually, right now is the perfect time for me to be practicing mindful self-compassion. This is human. This is a human thing, and what does it feel like to have this experience right now? Just noticing it.
It's not a human thing, it's an electrical thing.
Common humanity with electronics, right? So, okay, there we go. First thing we're going to do is we're going to share with somebody next to you an experience of kindness. So, just think about an experience that either you offered someone kindness or someone offered you. And if you're not sitting by anyone, if you would move around so that you can be close to somebody, because I know that there's a gentleman, or you can be in free if you need to. Just think about what that, either somebody doing kindness for you, or you offering kindness. How did it make you feel? Can you remember details about it? And if there's anything that came out of that for you. Okay, so and I'll give you each 3 minutes to share your experience. And if you're in a group of 3, then you'll have 2 minutes. So I'll even time it. And if you're done way fast, then we'll go forward. But the reason for this exercise is for you to recognize that we can actually strengthen our muscle of compassion. So we're going to start this together. So, okay. So. Take your friend. Good name. Thank you for participating in that. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, so what is self-compassion? That's a really important thing to understand. So compassion means to suffer with. And really what we're learning to do, so when we're suffering with someone, we are joining in that person. We're offering them support, kindness, understanding. One of the things that, being able to suffer with them. And really what we're doing when we do self-compassion is we're being present with ourselves in our own suffering instead of resisting the suffering. So that's a really important thing for me to understand is that I can learn and practice to suffer and be present with my myself when I'm having a really difficult time. Okay. So I want to tell you my story. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. So I deal with a chronic health condition called complex visual pain syndrome, and what it does is it has affected my nervous system. It comes from part of my brain that has shifted things. So I got into mindfulness to help with the pain, physical pain, and they have me on really high doses of oxycodone, and it wouldn't touch the pain. I was really wanting to just die because it was so bad. So through practice, I was able to taper myself down with the help of my physician, and I'm now on a very manageable amount. And I'm very functional. It's very unheard of, and I'm able to do this. Going through all of this, I also had a loved one who was suffering with substance use disorder, and that's also physical and emotional pain, as you guys know. So what I didn't understand is how I could beat that. I felt like I was a really, really bad mom. I felt a lot of shame because so much judgment. You should be doing this, you should be doing that, you should be doing this. A lot of pain and worry. I was really, really worried, and so I would meet that worry with anger because I didn't know how to fix the problem. So I would meet it with anger, with frustration. So then I would feel shame because I behaved really, really badly. I didn't behave how I wanted to. So then I would meet that shame with anger, and it was just continually being not helpful. Then I met and went to USAR Craft Family Support. And those skills, one of the first skills I learned was self-care. And it clicked with me with the mindfulness. I was like, oh my gosh, I am so not offering myself kindness and compassion in my suffering. Like I can do it physically, I can do it for myself physically, but I couldn't do it for myself emotionally. So then I started getting really, really curious about compassion and how I could apply that to dealing with the things with my life. So instead of, I still felt it, I still felt afraid, I still felt scared, I would still sometimes behave really, really poorly because I was learning a new skill. I was learning how to communicate, I was learning how to connect with people. And so it was not fun because I was used to meeting like that. So when I first started, I would meet it like this, and then afterwards I would remember, oh yeah, I'm supposed to meet it like this. If I can meet it with kindness and compassion, what would that look like? What would that feel like for me? So I started practicing. And it was really hard because, man, getting in that shame spiral, just meeting shame. Oh, I'm feeling a lot of shame. How can I meet that with kindness? How can I be present with it? Feel it. So I kept practicing, and realized I was able to offer myself understanding for the human experience that we all go through. Because we all experience it. We all want to be happy. Nobody wants to suffer. And I realized that the same with my loved one. He wanted happiness. He didn't want to suffer. He wanted to connect with me. I wanted to connect with him. So I started practicing offering myself lots of kindness. What I realized is when I started practicing this, and it's a practice, it's not a place that I get to, it's a constant practice, that I was able to offer it to my loved one. He was able to receive this kindness for his suffering. I didn't have to judge him. I could let go of judgment. I could meet it with curiosity and understanding and compassion. And that fear, that shame, it would soften. And it would dissipate. And then it would arrive again. And then I could meet it again with kindness and it would dissipate. So, I'm really proud of my loved one for the things that he's done for himself. He's found his own path and his own journey. This is my son, Slade. And I told him I wouldn't share his story. I will share my story because I'm so proud of the journey that he's found in his way of taking care of himself. I had to learn how to take care of myself. That's really when I could learn how to take care of myself, then I could support and offer understanding. Hey, wherever you're at, I love you. I'm going to meet you wherever you're at. And mindful self-compassion starts with us, with ourselves. So then, before I can offer it to the world, I had to offer it to myself. So that's what we get to practice. And it's like a muscle. It's beautiful. we end up being in, let's see what I can get it here. I'm gonna tap it. So, and what we end up doing is being able to practice these skills, because what I really want to clarify is what self-compassion is not. Okay, so self-compassion is not selfish. It's not, because when you're learning self-care, a lot of people, it's like, I was like, oh, I'm really self-indulging myself. I don't know if I should do this for myself. But self-care is really learning how to take care of me with kindness and compassion. So it's not sugarcoating it. It's not saying, oh, it'll be okay, Jennifer. Things are going to just get better. You're going to get rid of this disease. No, it's not that. It's meeting whatever is arising right where it's at. It's not just mantra. So self-compassion includes attention, which is a mantra. A mantra brings our attention, brings us to the present moment. I can give a mantra to me. I can be strong. I am strong. That's a mantra. With mindful self-compassion, that mantra turns not only into attention, but it's also connection and intention. So what is my intent? And emotion. I'm connecting with myself emotionally. Okay, and the other thing, self-compassion is not, the quote from Christopher Germer is, we're doing whatever it takes to cultivate a loving attitude. It's really important, it's what we're doing, is when we're offering this. So it's not a pity party. That's easy for me to do when I'm in shame cycle, is to have a pity party myself. Self-compassion is not just good feelings. It may generate good feelings, but it will also, what we're really cultivating is goodwill towards ourselves. And in cultivating goodwill towards ourselves, we offer that out to everyone else. It's also not demanding. It's not, what it is more of a wish for success and kindness. It's a word prayer. It can be considered a prayer or a blessing that we are offering for ourselves. And we're not trying to change our experience. That was something I really had to understand, is I'm not, because I don't want this. Frequently I would be asking, please take this away. I don't want to feel this. I don't want this experience. I didn't want physical pain. I didn't want emotional pain. Frequently that's what happens in my daily life. Today I'll give you an example of this. So I was preparing and just going over, making sure I was pretty aware of what I was going to be doing, and I was in the shower, and I hear my dogs barking. They are freaking out. Someone's at my door and they're not leaving. Get clothes on, go down, and it's my neighbor, and the neighbor's dog has jumped into their backyard, but they can't get a hold of this neighbor. And they don't really know each other. The back neighbors don't know each other, but they know me. So then I am frustrated. I am so frustrated that I have to go solve my neighbor's problem. And as I get outside, I realize, I'm feeling really angry. I'm really feeling frustrated. And then as I pull back in, I'm like, I can be that with kindness. That's what that feels like, to feel angry. That's what that feels like to be, I'm worried that I'm going to make a mistake. I'm worried about this presentation. How can I meet that with kindness? And allow that anger to be right where it is. So I just was right there with it. I allowed it to be, and then I was able to be kind and respond rather than react. That's the other thing that mindful self-compassion helps us do, is going to come from a place of kindness so that we can get into that more. There's 3 parts of our brain, and we want to be in the soothing part instead of the fight or flight. So when I was angry, I get into fight or flight, or I get in the doing mode or the achievement mode, because I want to solve this problem, and I'm feeling that anger. But if I can be in that soothing, calming mode, then I'm able to respond rather than react. So that's what this can help us learn, is how to respond. Mindful self-compassion is showing up for ourselves no matter what you're experiencing in the moment. It's okay to feel whatever. It's okay to have that experience. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be afraid. It's okay to feel lonely. It's okay to feel mad. It's okay to feel like I don't love myself. That's all welcome. That's important to understand about. We're not changing the experience, because when we can meet it with kindness, then it opens up the choice of how we can respond to what is needed. What is needed now? Let's see if I can get it to work. Okay, so we're going to actually do 3 practices together, so that we can learn how to do this on your own. And I'm baby stepping you in. This is just baby steps And when you practice this on your own, there's some things you're going to want to be aware of. Self-care, non-negotiable. If you're finding that this is not helpful, you stop. You got to stop. You also recognize it's okay when you go, this is not helpful, can I meet that? And I'm feeling resistance, I want this to work. Can I meet that with kindness and compassion? Okay? Only you know what you need. Like, I'm here to support you, but I can't solve for you. So there's some suggestions I would do. If as we go through these meditations, they're short, and you feel like, okay, this is causing me a lot of stress and resistance, I don't want to feel this, there are some things you can do. One, you can open your eyes. Two, feel your feet on the floor. What does that feel like? Another thing you can do, feel your hands. Also, it's really important one of the things that we can do is connect with ourselves. It's interesting how deeply we want to connect. It's part of all of us. It's hardwired into us. It's part of who we are. We all want to connect. And one of the beautiful things about mindful self-compassion is you can actually connect with yourself physically. Just one of my things that I do all the time is I'm like, I'm here for you. I got you, girl. One of my terms of endearment is sweet girl. So I call myself sweet girl. I'm here for you, sweet girl. And then I'm asking what is going on. Okay, so third thing, take care of yourself. So I can't emphasize that enough. There's also a thing called backdraft. Sometimes we experience backdraft because we feel like we don't deserve kindness. When we're in a shame spiral, like today, I felt like I didn't deserve kindness because I felt so angry. I've been dealing with this dog issue with the next door neighbor so often, and I'm so frustrated, and I was in my head a lot. So then I'm like, oh, I don't deserve kindness because I'm being a jerk neighbor. Then I get in that, oh, I'm this. And then I recognized, oh, I'm just in that spiral. May I be filled with peace. It's okay to feel that. It's okay to feel anger. Whatever is arising, it's okay to feel lonely. So that backdraft, when we feel like I don't deserve it, recognize it and meet it with kindness. This example to me, you can even try it on yourself if you want. See what it's like to hold two fists, and then keep one fist, and just hold it, and see what happens. What does it feel like? It's really powerful to just do that for yourself. Okay, so the first meditation that you can practice on your own is we use phrases. Now these are some phrases that I have come up with, and there have been some, they didn't download exactly how I posed, but that's okay. We'll just swap. These are some that I come up that I use on my own because they've been very helpful for me. So one is, may I be happy? And that is one we all universally want. We all want to be happy. May I love myself just as I am? That's a tough one for me because I've not always loved myself. I've actually been my most worst enemy for years. And it's been really hard for me to learn how to just accept myself. Love myself right where I am. That was powerful. We all want to be loved. So, may I be free from sorrow? And what I found is that it's not getting rid of the sorrow, it's being present and allowing it to be there, and giving it space to breathe. So that it's offering myself that kindness when I'm feeling. May I be filled with peace. Everybody wants to be at peace. So really, we're not going to use these phrases. I'm just giving you examples of ones that I have used for myself. And I have an image, because sometimes it's really, really helpful when we're meditating to look at something rather than close your eyes, if you prefer to keep your eyes open versus closed. Or if you're like, okay, I'm falling asleep, I'm going to open my eyes so that I can stay present during this. And I want to learn this for myself, my own space for myself. Okay, so the first one we're going to do is using phrases. So we're actually going to do a practice, a meditation practice. So, if you find that you are drowsy, I know you've been here a long time, you guys have been here. This is your second day, and I've been getting lots of information. So the three phrases we're going to use are, may I be happy, may I be well, because everyone wants to be well, everyone wants to be healthy, and may I be filled with peace, because we don't like feeling anything. through. We don't like that. So these are the wishes, blessings, or prayers we can offer to ourselves. So let's just do a little practice offering this to ourselves. So I'll invite you to find a comfortable position, and also as you go through this, you can just be aware of sounds around you. That's a helpful thing too. So if you would like, you can close your eyes. That's helpful for you. If not, I invite you to either open them, just lower your gaze, or you can look at the image on the slide. That's helpful. And then notice any sound around you. What do you hear? And notice any thoughts. Are you bored? Are you excited? Are you nervous? Noticing the weight of your body right here. Your chair, what does that feel like? And then bringing awareness to just your shoulders as you breathe. Now we're going to offer the first phrase to ourselves. May I be happy. Just repeat that to yourself. May I be happy. It's okay if you don't get it right. Noticing what it feels like to offer yourself this kindness. May I be happy. And the second phrase, may I be well. May I be well. Noticing what that feels like to offer yourself this kindness. May I be well. And then the third phrase, may I be filled with peace. May I be filled with peace. If it's helpful, you can connect with yourself by putting your hand on your chest, or perhaps holding your own hand, if that's helpful to connect. Offering yourself this kindness. May I be filled with peace. Just breathing in. And then we'll just go through them once more. May I be happy. May I be well. May I be filled with peace. Just noticing. Being curious about what you notice. And then taking in a deep breath that's comfortable for you. Letting it out at your own pace. And when you're ready, opening your eyes. One of the things that's very helpful afterwards is to do what's called inquiry. Inquiry asks, what should I notice? So I'm going to ask you, what did you notice? What it felt for you as you offered yourself in that? Please.
And first, because I think there was a name for it. My sponsor calls it a certain thing that I think I've been adapted at for years. And so at first, the names were questions. Yeah.
Oh,
And then the second time we did it, it was more like asking that. But it's like a question. Oh, yeah, man. You know?
yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Did you guys all hear what she said? She said that what she noticed was that the first time we went through, she asked if it was more of a question. May I be happy? You know, am I allowed to be happy? You know? But the second time we went through, it was more offering it to herself. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. And it's just noticing what is arising so that then you can know how to respond. So I love that you were able to also offer that, I'm going to offer myself. So
focus on what you were saying. You know, okay, I have to use, there's a lot of what's going on there. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Did you guys know what she said?
Yeah.
She said that she first noticed that she's really irritated by the sound, by the noise. And to be able to meet that irritation, because I was bothered by it too. You know, I noticed, oh, that's a little, I have to talk about her, it's a little bit more stressful. But she noticed that, so and she was able to go, oh, I can hear this. And she noticed that it's what matters on the inside for her. And so she was able to connect inside. So thank you. Any other? Please, yeah.
For the music, I'm very passionate about building anxiety all the time. And for when I see people that hear these what I'm doing, what I'm doing here. And when you start with the exercise, and you feel some things that I don't think that I can do today. And now in the last part, I was paying attention to the silence and the little sound from the computer. Made me feel relaxed. For the first time, I was paying attention to something that wasn't right. And now we're right here. I would like to be silent. I really appreciate the sound and read the sound from the computer. And for me, this is it's incredible. And maybe because I'm dealing with very high anxiety. Everything feels so grateful to get here.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing that. To be able to shift from that. So she said that she mentioned that she deals with a lot of anxiety, and that she was able to hear the computer, and that was able to just that stillness, that calmness, was able to bring her peace. So thank you for sharing. Yes, being able to do that. So do you mind if I share what happens with your brain? Anxiety is staying in the fight or flight mode. And all those chemicals and hormones, they don't. They keep going. They're going to jump on you, jump on you, jump on you. And mindful self-compassion, again, the practice is getting out of that dump and they're not bad. They keep you safe. But when we stay too long in them, they can be harmful. So we want to practice getting over into another part of our brain, and that's what mindful self-compassion does. It helps us go into the soothing, calming mode and be able to help us respond differently to our experience. So that's that little practice. You got to go into that calming mode. And that generates other hormones, which help us calm. So thank you for sharing. Okay, the next one, we can use imagery. So this practice, words don't work for you. Sometimes words don't work for everybody. You can use imagery. So I'll try to talk really loud because you guys hear me back there, okay? All right. It's helpful sometimes to have an image. For some people, you can generate it. You're really good. Some people are really good at generating images. And it helps us generate those feelings of goodwill towards ourselves when we can have an image that we practice for mindful self-compassion. So this next practice, we're going to use an image. So I'll guide you through that. It'll just be a short practice using an image and how you can practice on your own to when you get into those uncomfortable situations or emotions, which is what we do. So if you're comfortable, I invite you to close your eyes for keep them open, and your self-care is non-negotiable. If you're keep them open, or lower your gaze and your eyes and stuff, or you can make an image. That's helpful. And just noticing what it feels like again, keep sitting here. Noticing sound. Noticing sensation in your body. And then we're going to create an image. An image of a sunset. You can imagine it for yourself. You can be at the beach or looking at the mountains as the sun sets. And there's a perfect temperature outside, not too hot. warm light, imagine colors, sometimes orange, that warm golden light as the sun starts to set. Sometimes there's a big pink or blue in the sky as it sets. That warm golden light. Then you're going to imagine that warm golden light is filling your body, going right to your heart space. That golden light fills up your heart. Just warm. It starts to spread, going out to your torso, into your arms and your hands. This golden light goes down to your legs and your feet, going up your back. And you see that warm golden light of the sunset. It permeates every bone, every cell of your body. This light, this golden light of warmth. Just allowing it to fill you up. It's helpful. Put a hand on your chest, connecting with yourself. Generating goodwill towards yourself. Or if it's helpful, holding your own hand, connecting with yourself. It's that warm light filling you up. Just being with that warmth. Golden light. Taking in a deep breath, letting it out slowly at your own pace. Noticing any sounds around you. And when you're ready, if you've had your eyes closed, open them. So that's another way you can offer yourself and generate goodwill towards yourself, is to have practice with imagery. So again, you go back to inquiry. So what did you notice? Please.
I didn't notice the noise outside our room as much.
Okay.
I was shut off.
Okay. So you were able to be more contained. You were able to come inward.
Just focusing on your guidance and the image in my head, not noticing all that extra.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. And when we focus, that can sometimes help us dial in more. And sometimes it can help us also expand, depending on what is needed. So thank you for sharing that. And if you don't want to share, that's okay too. Just be curious what you noticed in your own experience. What arose for you? Every experience is welcome. Yeah, please.
I don't want to talk too much, but in that time, I feel like transport to like 1 year ago when I was in the beach and with the sand, and I can feel all the sensation over there. I can feel the sand, you know, the sand. You know when you say something warm,
Yes.
you feel the weather.
Yeah.
It was not cold, it not hot. Was the perfect, say, oh, I can trip.
Yes.
I love it.
You can transform yourself. Yes.
I'm gonna try to do it quicker when I get the dress. You know, but I'm gonna try to remember this.
Yeah. That's so cool that you could experience all of that from practicing your imagery. You did it. You did your own vacation right there. Awesome. Yeah. And that's another thing that we were we're generating goodwill, but we can go to places that have brought us happiness and warm memories. And that's another way of strengthening that compassion muscle for ourselves, is that we can actually go to warm, wonderful memories, delightful memories that bring us happiness. So thank you for sharing your insights. Did you have something?
I was scratching my head, but I want to tell you that both times I nodded off. So I was
Yes, I'm glad you would. I'm so glad you would share that, because that is very normal. That happens to me too. I've been practicing for several years, and I will still get tired.
I did it on the first one, but these last two I fell asleep a couple times.
Yeah, and that's okay. It's being able to say, "Oh, that was my experience," rather than I should fall asleep. It's just, oh, that's my experience right there. I'm tired, I need a little rest. And it's okay that you took it. It's all right that you had that. So thank you for sharing that, because that, I want to normalize that.
I'm going to try to use it when I sleep, go to sleep, because I have problems sleeping, so I was really surprised that I just fell asleep at that one time.
Yeah, I really do. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. That is something that has helped me sleep. It doesn't always guarantee that I will sleep, but what it does do is when I can't sleep, instead of being really angry that I can't sleep, oh, I can't sleep. Okay, what is needed? And so then I can take care of myself, whether that's to get out and do something that is helpful for me to relax in a different place, or to be able to offer myself some time to do something different, and then go back to bed another time. 20 minutes later, or so. Sometimes it's an hour, sometimes it's 2 hours. But it's just meeting my experience with kindness, whatever arises. So, thank you for sharing. I'll make sure. My last one is using the breath. So, are we supposed to finish at 3:15 or 2:30?
I'm not sure. Schedule.
I thought it was 3:15. Okay.
Keep going till they kick you out.
Okay, we're good. We're totally good. Okay, then the last one is using the breath. Now, sometimes breath can be triggering. So sometimes people are like, I can't do that. No way, I've got so much anxiety, I'm not focusing on the breath. And that's okay. So I'm going to tell you a couple things you can focus on. I'm going to use it as the breath, but we're not focusing on the breath. What I use is we're breathing in kindness, and we're breathing out kindness. Now, if you find that, okay, I can't even do that, focus on your hands, like you're receiving kindness in your hands. Focus on the sensations in your hands as you go with that. So I'm going to give you that option to focus and use that instead of using. So every time I say the word breath, you supplement that with the word hands, like you're receiving it. So we'll do one more practice that you can practice on your own. I had an image, but I guess it didn't get down with it, so that's okay too. Again, our third practice. You guys ready for this? Okay. Again, just noticing sounds around you. If you would like to close your eyes, you may. I can go back actually to, oh, here it is. There's my image. So, and if it's comfortable for you, closing your eyes, lowering your gaze, or you can look at the image if that's helpful. Just noticing what it feels like again to be sitting right here. Notice if you're tired. Notice if you are feeling bored or excited, happy, or just content. Just notice what you're feeling. All of it is welcome. Okay. Now we're going to just invite, every time we take a breath in, we're just going to invite kindness to ourselves. So we're breathing in kindness, breathing out kindness. Just notice as you breathe in what it feels like your shoulders move, or perhaps your rib cage moves. So you're breathing in kindness. You're receiving kindness every time you breathe in. Receive kindness for yourself. Again, we're not trying to change anything. We're practicing offering ourselves goodwill, generating goodwill, being with ourselves in our difficult, challenging, or whatever experience it might be. Breathing in kindness. Breathing out kindness. So you're receiving kindness every breath. It's right there to be received. And every breath out, you're giving kindness. You're offering as you breathe out, you're giving kindness to yourself. You're just receiving it gently as you breathe in and as you breathe out. Just like a mother rocks a child. Or as the ocean just gently waves back and forth, that ocean swell. Just breathing in kindness. Breathing out kindness. Receiving kindness and giving kindness. Receiving and giving. It's one of the most kind things you can do for yourself because of life. Every breath is an act of kindness for yourself. Breathing in kindness, breathing out kindness. Just being curious about what you notice and receiving. It's helpful. Connecting with yourself by putting your hand on your chest, holding your hand. Just breathing in kindness, receiving and giving. Receiving and giving. Now just notice what it feels like to be sitting here, the weight of your body, noticing any sound around you. And if you've had your eyes closed, when you're ready, opening them. And taking really good care of yourself. And then again, inquiry. What did you notice in your experience? What came up for you?
So I noticed another great term called the Milky Mind, where it's just like the thoughts are just like, I noticed that like the first couple I was noticing, I was feeling more like relaxed finally. And then I noticed in this one that now I'm more relaxed and I'm noticing all of the thoughts that are there. Like they were probably already all there, but there was like so many of them, it was like stirring a thing with a bunch of particles and it's solid and you don't notice it until it starts to slow down. And then I was just noticing all the thoughts. Like, yeah, what happened or what I should do, or all the, you know, like, and then being kind with myself with all the thoughts, judgments, and that I shouldn't be thinking, and blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
And were you able to meet your experience? How did you meet it? How did that go?
Yeah, there was part of the committee, you know, going on. Talking about the way they should handle it. And eventually it was kindness, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm so glad you did bring that up. Because we're not trying to get rid of thought. It's being aware of thought. So you notice it. That's huge to be able to go, oh, my brain is thinking. Just like my eyes blink, my brain's going to think. That's what our brains do. So when we're doing meditation or practicing mindfulness, we're not trying to get rid of thought. We're just trying to be aware. Oh, my brain's doing its job. That thought. Oh, it's judgment. Oh, I have a committee. Oh, you get 2 opinions going on. So that's nice practice, you know? Be able to just be aware that that's there and it's welcome. So thank you for pointing that out. That's just part of being human, I think. It's a really important job that our brains do. So,
Yeah, you can't control it either.
no, and you know what? Because when we try to control it, that which we resist persists. So I shouldn't think that, we're pushing it away, we're resisting it, it's going to come more. It's when we acknowledge it. Oh, I see you. You're there. Pass through us. So thank you. Please.
Yeah, I was gonna share this and it was something that I do, but it's kind of just incorporated in itself with what you were doing. And so when I was breathing in the kindness at the beginning and I was blowing out the crap, sort of like John Coffey, getting rid of that stuff, but I noticed as I had been in and then picturing myself blow that out, pretty soon I started just blowing out kindness, so it kind of just flowed. It was kind of cool. I just thought I'd share that.
I really appreciate you sharing your process for it and how you work with it. So
Yeah, that's just one that I've used that I'd heard a few years back is, take in the good air and then imagine yourself as, John Coffey from the Green Mile and you're blowing out all that stress and that crap. You can feel that big every body and you can actually visualize it,
Yeah.
And that's been a helpful breathing exercise for myself, but it incorporated nicely with what you were doing. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing that. That's a beautiful exercise. Again, and it's a form of what you've incorporated is imagery with breathing. So that's beautiful that you can do that and have that made that your own practice. Is there anything anybody else would like to share that they noticed? Yeah, please.
So for me, it was, I probably could have gotten into them a little bit more, but the seats are uncomfortable.
Oh, yes, super. Yes, that is okay. And you know what? If you need to stand, I'm a big believer in taking care of yourself. Please stand. So, yes, I appreciate you sharing that you noticed that it was uncomfortable. How did you take care of it? What did you do? Or have you just kind of like
it kind of like when you mentioned this, like the seat part, and like think about kind of like the thinking of what's going on. All I did is make it worse. So.
Okay. Would you like how I address that when I'm dealing with that? Because I deal with that all the time. Like I'm sitting for long periods of time and standing for long periods of time are very difficult for me. So would you like? How would you? So it just kind of increases. Sometimes it intensifies, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes the best thing to do is get up and move. And I would not have been offended at someone to take care of yourself. And it's hard to do that. For the longest time, I wouldn't take care of myself. I would not stand up, even though I knew I desperately needed to, because I was really worried about the jugular. I didn't want to interrupt the meeting. I was like, And I just learned I got to take care of myself. So I'm so glad that you bring that up. You don't have to be super still in meditation. The stillness is right in there. It's right there. So thank you for sharing that. Please.
I think that is curious for me because I'm the person that have all because I'm child. I'm big. Sometimes I feel very uncomfortable in the chair. But today for me was the opposite scene. I was thinking, wow, why can I do this and feel comfortable on the seat? For me,
Yes, it was the
opposite. Opposite.
Okay. Yes.
He said that was, wow, it's different, different things.
Yes. And that's really important to note because each one of us, we're all in this same room where we're each all having very, very different experiences. And every single experience is welcome. So that's what's beautiful, is that we're all different. And all of our experiences are different. So this last thing I want to share with you, this guy's name is John O'Donohue, and he has written a book of blessings. And they're so beautiful, and they're blessings, he calls them blessings, or they can be wishes, or prayers for you. And he says, may you listen to your longing to be free. May the frames of your belonging be generous enough for your dreams. May you arise each day with a voice of blessing whispering in your heart. May you find a harmony between your soul and your life. May the sanctuary of your soul never be haunted. May you know the eternal longing that lives at the heart of time. May there be kindness in your gaze when you look within. May you never place walls between the light and yourself. May you allow the wild beauty of the invisible world gather you, mind you, and embrace you in and belonging. And my last, okay, is for you to please remember, always, you are loved, always, no matter what. Thank you so much for practicing.